Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Where are we all coming from? We seem to have getting like a good mix of like Europeans and Americans here during these streams. Hello, Space. We're cynical, Corey. So today, what I was thinking of doing and spending like most of my time in this right with me is I'm gonna start chapter two. I think what I'm gonna do first is like some brainstorming, and then kind of fleshing out the summary and kind of make something quite meaty, and then I'm gonna take that, make some beats, and then try out like a few different styles of beats. Like I'm thinking I'm gonna maybe try like some, depending on what dialogue comes out, I might see if I can get like, I don't know, some kind of argument or something kind of going. So we'll see how that is. Um yeah. Um oh wow, got people Thailand, in Germany. Yeah, yeah, no, it's everyone there. So what projects are you all working on? So but yeah, so that's what I think I'm gonna do. Um I was also like we were chatting in the community a little bit, and we were wondering if in August we wanted to like work on a group challenge mission, kind of like, I don't know, like some kind of group activity that's like a summer camp. We're all like writing together but using AI, and um like maybe kind of focusing on quality of rather than quantity. So we do like maybe like some kind of short stories where we all like have like the same, like a bingo sheet of prompt words or something. I've not quite fleshed it out, but if that's something you guys would be interested in, and then we do like an hourly check-in each day, just like groove, write, plan, edit, use the drunk prompts, just see how things go. Would that be something that you're interested in? Um, Oh, hello, Michael. You're awake. Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I'm in these right with me's. I'm going to focus on only dogs left because for once, I'm going to get a stream story done, even if we only have 3,000 words of it at the moment. But yeah, so that is my plan of action. I have my tea already made. Might get in a couple of hours of writing. Oh, great. I'm glad that you guys are interested in the idea. Yeah, so if you have any like thoughts you want to add to it throughout the stream, I'll just have a little ramble as well. And yeah, let's get going. So we're gonna focus on, if I give you large, so it's easier to see. So chapter two, it's in Nicodemus's workshop. I'm gonna slightly change even this original plan that I had. I'm thinking um Zora has already gone off. So Delilah's probably like, she's returning to the workshop. She's like, got this earring she doesn't really know about. So she's obviously wanting to keep it hidden, and she's wanting to go to the forge to throw it in. But she's also kind of pissed off at Zora because Zora just like left without saying anything, and like she had to talk to these posh boys. So she's not that happy with her colleague. So I think there's like some room for conflict there. And then afterwards we can like do a bit more interaction with or like we can introduce Nicodemus um and kind of have that mentor studentship vibe, father daughter pseudo figures, kind of like get that close bond established so that when we kill him off it like gets you in the guts. That's my thoughts. Whether there's enough drama in like kind of the original, like we'll see. But I think we can work with something. So that's my thoughts. So I'm gonna take um I press Control S instead of Control A. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna go into chat, just a general purpose chat, I think, with Sonnet, my new favorite. Okay. I'm gonna give it the context of the full novel outline up to chapter 2. Please help me expand on this chapter summary for chapter 2 of my novel. I would like you to one, analyze it, or one, suggest 10 ways I could make it more dramatic. 2, out any additional ways I could tie it into the plotline. And 3, suggest 10 ways to display the characters in a way that shows the reader about them through their actions and words. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly tinker with this to get my new summary for this prompt. Have a little look. Oh, amazing. Yeah. Yeah, first person could be on it. I'm really liking the idea of like a bingo board. So like, or like, you know, like a grid, like a 5x5 grid where there is different prompts or like keywords. So it could be like first person is one of them and like different things like that. And then you choose like a line either across, down, or diagonal of like a group of 5 as your kind of like to set you off. And like you don't have to use them all, but it's more as a kind of inspiration to get you going. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this very second. But yeah, like things like different tenses and stuff would totally be in it. Kind of like push us all out of our comfort zones. And in a medium that's so short, it kind of forces you to be really succinct and actually kind of work to fit everything in. So that would be exciting, I think. Okay, so Delilah returns to the workshop. She is annoyed at Zora for leaving her to the mercies of Gaius and what's his name? But she got out without a reprimand. Entering the workshop, she sees Zora talking at Nicodemus, who is ignoring her, working on some. Okay, so what's loud? Like, I don't know, on some soldering and wearing protective equipment. Delilah decides to cause as an exercise, I'm writing a few short stories in which the chapters from the narcissist's point of view are written in first person limited, which I've not had much practice in. That's a good way of doing it because like narcissists like are very much me, myself, and I, so it kind of like it fits in with the character that they've kind of burst through to the author's zone and like taken over that. So yeah, no, that's really cool. Nicodemus. When the two talk turns to the repairs on the Genesis Hydro Gardens, and Nicodemus tells them that the Archon has vetoed them and they need to stop work. Delilah is outraged. Zora is submissive to the Archon's will. When Zora has left for the day, Delilah begins ranting about it. Nicodemus gives balanced view to counter her. Delilah flushes and stumbles, giving an excuse before scurrying away. Okay, I think that's going to be enough of an initial summary. So let's see how that goes. Okay, 10 ways to make it more dramatic. Okay, I like the idea of them having a conversation. Two. A secret panel in the wood. Additional ways to tie into the plot line. Okay. 3 ways to. Oh, sorry, 10, 3. 10 ways to display characters through actions and words. Okay, they're cool. That's okay. Yeah, that works. Um, okay. What projects are you all working on at the moment? Are you doing some writing? Are you editing? How many of you have been using the drunk prompt and the line editing prompts from previous streams? Chapter 2. Plan. Okay, then I'm going to go into chat. Scene beats from summary. Sonnet. Oh, suddenly loads of messages all come in at once. That's the time delay. Emery says that she is outlining a short story, so once she's done, I think run it through the drunk prompt to see what kind of feedback it gives rather than. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. You could always like rephrase the drunk prompt a bit, like maybe instead of saying scene, it's like outline, something like that. Um, I'm listening while DIYing, which is also taking me longer than expected. What are you making? Are you putting up IKEA furniture or are you doing something else? At this moment, I'm working on some fan fiction, but I'd love to join a writing community so I can actually work on my writing using AI for just for improvements in grammar, small tasks. Yeah, totally. I mean, like with this challenge that we're thinking of doing, you can, you know, we're a software that has AI as part of it, but like as the basic plan says, like it's a writing software. So if you want to, do your own writing and then use AI for the analysis and like to give you like hints and tips. That is totally cool. And I think a lot of us have started out on fan fiction. Like I mean I still do write fan fiction at times, but like it's I think a great way of entering into the writing world and kind of like whetting your appetite. Yeah. IKEA furniture is the classic. What are you building? Okay. I mean, I'm going to simplify all this. I might try as well. Okay. Let's let's try again and see if splitting it into two gives us different kinds of responses, like a different set of six. Um, kind of, but not hugely. But it'll be good for a kit bash. Almost finished my first draft. A bit steamy for a lot of things are a bit steamy for Claude. Mr. is helping me out. We'll definitely use the drunk prompt when first draft is complete. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Let's delete all this, and then if I copy these two longer ones, go up to the top. Um, oh, nice bookshelves. Like that's always a solid. And all the books that you're going to be writing, you need room to put them on. And so I'm seeing the two women. The repairs would have allowed so much more food to come into to would help slow down. Um, okay, so I'm finding so far that actually sticking it all in one beat, it's not actually giving me that much more, which is fine. Good to know. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So tidbit must be an Americanism rather than titbit. Um, Hello, Sandaru. Yeah, I think his movement's deliberate and precise. Is exactly carefully packs it up. He tasks. He expresses So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so am I gonna merge any of these? I think this will all be one conversation. Those two can go together. Wait, no, there's a lot in that, so these two can go together. I don't have to. And then I'm going to click extract. Oh, okay. Huh. So I can't extract these as beats. That's annoying. I will copy and paste them. Right. Chapter 2. Format. I'm just doing the little pipey to make the beats. What am I going to do? Let's see. Let's see what I can get from this. I'm curious. Okay, I mean, interesting, but has gone on for more than... Okay, interesting though. Sample chapter. Okay, let's first of all get chapter 1. I'm going to click actions, copy scene prose, make sure that is in my sample chapter. I'm going to try both 400 and 150 and see if either... Okay, so I'm definitely finding that giving a more word appropriate time, like, I think gets rid of some of the woolliness. Okay. which I think is often the task. Like, if you give it 400 words, but only like enough stuff to write like 100, then it kind of all goes a little bit haywire. Off topic. Okay, so something James says for temperature, etc. Is there an idiot's guide somewhere you can recommend? So yeah, so each model is different. Usually, the higher the number, the more creative it is. 0.7 is usually a good place to start. I would, that's where I'd recommend. Um, if you're doing more analytical stuff in chat, then you'd want it maybe a bit lower, but 0.7 is a good place to start. Mark asks, yeah, word search and replace is in the future works. Yeah, no, a lot of people have that issue, and like it's we are actively working on it, but due to coding things that I don't understand, it's a lot harder than it looks to do. But it is in the works. And Dulce asks, oh, Dulce says, oh, you've just finished book 1 of the Cozy Mystery series. That's amazing. Yeah, I think it's good sometimes to have a gap and like some time to yourself, or like time to like get away from the first book before going back to it. So yeah, working on book 2 for a little bit is a great shout. Um, just Hydro Gardens, Nicodemus this way. Um, 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 pausing at the door, she could hear Zora yammering on about something or another. Yeah, so Chunder is something that I learnt at university. It's like it's quite a Scottish term, I think, or it was the Glaswegians where I heard it from. Um, and I feel if anyone is going to use that word, it would be Delilah. Not globs. Um, I mean, can anyone say I drank 15 pints and didn't chunder? But yeah, that is a very good use case example for chunder. I don't know the song Down Under. Now I kind of feel like I need to. Okay. Ah, where beer does flow and men chunder. Can't you hear the thunder? Great rhyme. Yeah, maybe it does say maybe refresh it. I think the stream is like a little bit. I mean, it's always behind me talking, but it shouldn't be behind chat. Hmm. He would call him DeMarco. Knocking into. Oh, modern day version of gunshot. Corey, you might be better. What in a dystopian future would be the equivalent of a gunshot? I mean, they do have guns, but I mean, I guess gunshot would work then. Okay, interesting. I definitely like the shorter version more. So it might be that 400 words is too much to ask for my beats to give me what I want, and that's okay. Um, oh, my posture is awful. It's all right. Um, Maybe if I move this. I should report sabotage. It was. Now see here. It wouldn't burn. It would melt. until don't like that. We'll come. Perhaps next time you can wait 10 minutes before. As soon as the fighting had stopped, Delilah felt just something that worked about. This is going all right, actually. I mean, obviously, there's going to be things that I change. I think what my aim is, so it's 5 o'clock. And what my plan is to try and get this chapter finished, send it through Drunk Claude, and make a plan of action for edits. I think. I keep seeing Discord messages and thinking, oh, I'll reply. And then I'm like, no, I can't reply to Discord right now by speaking. That's not how communication works. But someone's wanting a planning series, and I don't know what genre it is, but we have planning series. Thank you for that Thank you for that totally. Yeah, thank you for that totally helpful analysis, Zora. By actually doing our instead of letting oh, question. One possibly stupid question. If Claude is normally so prudish, how to get it to the drunk version? So I think it depends on what your writing is. Like with the Claude beta models, they're a lot more like lax, and the output of the models isn't what's checked when you send a message. It's whatever you're inputting. Um, I don't know. It just seems to do it. We've got the prompt if you go on the Discord or like any of the past live docs that have it in. Um, yeah, it just I don't know. It just kind of seems to work. I wish I could explain why. I think it might just be because of the beta version and because of the way it's prompted. Funny experiment with Claude. It randomly went non-prudish, had my character smoking bongs. Not anything in the story whatsoever that could indicate there was a plot point, so it was very bizarre. Yeah, sometimes it just really gets an idea in its head and just runs with it, and you're like, what? Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in trying it. Like, it's a good prompt. Like, it does nicely. Um, um, what should you call him, Nick? Oh, I like that. It has interesting. If you've read chapter one, um, I think it will have pulled that from using chapter one as the style guide, which is very interesting, um, and a nice bit of continuity. Uh, oh my goodness, when was it? Oh, it brought up since when are you on the first name basis? Is that what you call? I really like that actually. It's a nice little bit of conversation. I feel like this is kind of the pace of this is quite snappy at the moment. So it's promising. I might get 2,000 words. Be nicer if it was a little bit longer, but I'm not complaining. To be fair, usually I write 2,000 word scenes, so. Do any of you who are in America have plans for tomorrow? I mean, here it's going to be a wonderful, miserable day, but I believe you all celebrate finally getting away from us. We're having our own elections actually in the UK, so could be Independence Day. Okay. I have to remember. He gestured. Um, what could she mistake a radio for? So an old-fashioned radio, it has the speakers, so it's like a mesh. I keep thinking posture when sitting on a desk chair. It's awful. I am upgrading and getting a new one tomorrow, so that is gonna be amazing for my back. There were thousands of technology had its own. Eh. Do I need 700 words for this? Well, then again, Drunk Claude did say not to give mechanic lessons, so maybe I shouldn't. Oh, I used buggered. Just like um she searched. Okay, chapter 2. Sorry if I just suddenly jump scared anyone. Chapter 2, I think, finished roughly. I'm For a first draft, I'm happy. This prompt using just like the previous chapter as the style is doing really well. It's carrying some work. So I'm going to try. Oh no. Chat analysis. Beta level drunk. Brutal level drunk. Context. Scene 2. Are you guys ready to see some drunk Claude tear into my work? I'll wait. I'll wait until it's all caught up because I can see that I'm. Oh, that lag is really bad. If that's so, I'm looking and I'm like still editing the last page. Oh, okay, that's such a bad lag. I'll just get started, um, rather than waiting like 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 1 or 2. All right, mate, let's crack on with this. I've had a few pints, so I'm gonna give it to you straight. No bollocks. This scene's got some real potential, but we also got a few issues that need sorting. Let's dive in, shall we? First off, I reckon this is some sort of dystopian sci-fi, yeah? We've got this rundown city, Nova Bezos, with an Archon in charge and all sorts of tech issues. It's giving me proper 1984 meets Blade Runner vibes, which I'm into. Now, let's talk pacing. Starts off a bit slow with Delilah creeping around and eavesdropping, but then bam, we've got this confrontation that really kicks things off. I love how it ramps up, but bloody hell, it goes on for ages. It's like watching a tennis match, back and forth, back and forth. By the time we get to the radio bit, I'm knackered. You may want to tighten that up a bit, mate. Okay. The characters, though, they're proper good. Delilah's a real firecracker, isn't she? I can practically see her all worked up and ready to fight the power. And Nicodemus, he's like that mysterious old geezer who knows more than he's letting on. Love it. Zora's a bit of a wet blanket, but I suppose every story needs one of those. Now, about that turning point, we've got a few actually. There's the bit where Delilah chucks the earring into the fire. That's pretty major. We've got the news about the Archon vetoing their plans. And finally, there's this whole radio thing. It looks like you're setting up dominoes, mate. I'm just waiting for them to all fall. But here's the thing. It's a bit confusing in parts. Like, what's the deal with all the oil seeping into the floorboards? You've dropped that in like a hot potato and then just left it. And the earring, why is Delilah so keen to get rid of it? I mean, I know it's from the last scene, but you might want to give us a quick reminder. Some bits feel a bit forced, if I'm being honest. Like when Nicodemus suddenly decides to show Delilah the radio. It's interesting, don't get me wrong, but it feels like it comes out of nowhere. Maybe build up to it a bit more. So I'm going to ask. You've got some really important stuff in there. The Archon's veto, the hidden tech, the hints about rebel activity. But you've also got this long bit about how our radios work. Don't get me wrong, it's interesting, but is it really as important as the other stuff? As for cliches, well, you've got the whole classic young rebel versus the oppressive system thing going on. But you know what? It works. It's classic for a reason, innit? On the page turner scale, I give this a solid 7 out of 10. It's got me interested for sure. I know I want to know more about what's going on with Nicodemus, what Delilah's gonna do next, and what the hell is under those floorboards. One last thing, I'm loving the world building you're doing there. The way you're dropping in bits about the Undercity, the Burn-In Library, the Genesis Hydro Gardens, it's all creating this vivid picture of a proper messed up world. Overall, mate, I think you've got something here. It just needs a bit of tightening up, maybe rearranging some bits to make the flow better. But I'm invested, I'll tell you that. Claude is being very polite today, and it hasn't chundered. Okay, interesting. Um, sometimes I don't know if that's because it's actually a decent scene or if Claude's just feeling nice today. Um, okay, right, mate. Let's sort this radio business. I don't know. Drunk Claude is Yorkshire. That's just my headcanon. Right, mate, let's sort this radio business out. It's a bloody good bit, but it does feel like it comes out of nowhere. So let's brainstorm how to build it up. I've got a few ideas rattling around my head, so bear with me while I ramble on. First off, you could start planting seeds earlier in the scene. Maybe when Delilah first enters the workshop, she notices some odd bits and bobs scattered around, things that don't quite fit with the usual mechanics gear. Old circuit boards, strange looking wires, that sort of thing. Don't make a big deal of it. Just have her clock it and move on. Then, during the heated argument about the Archon and the veto plans, you could have Nicodemus getting more and more agitated. Not just because of the argument, but he's worried about something else. Maybe he keeps glancing at a particular workbench or a locked cabinet. Delilah notices this, but she's too caught up in the argument to really think about it. As the argument reaches its peak, you could have Nicodemus snap, not just because of what Delilah's saying, but because he's worried about her safety. He could say something like, "You don't understand the dangers, Delilah. There are things at work here that you can't even imagine." That'd pique her interest, wouldn't it? I'll have to see what I had originally. Then, when the argument starts to wind down, you can have Delilah's curiosity get the better of her. She could ask... Okay. Or, here's another thought. What if Delilah, in her anger, starts rummaging through things in the workshop, looking for something to prove a point about the importance of their work, and in doing so, she accidentally uncovers the radio? Nicodemus could react with alarm at first, then resignation, and finally decide it's time to let her in on the secret. You could also tie it in more directly to their argument about the Archon and the power structure. Maybe Nicodemus could say something like, "You think you know how this city works, but you've only seen the surface. Let me show you something that might change your perspective." And then he brings out the radio. The key is to make this feel like a natural progression from their argument to this revelation. It should feel like Nicodemus is making a decision to trust Delilah with this information, not randomly deciding to show her some old tech. And while you're at it, maybe drop a hint or two about this radio is so important. Is it just because it's old tech, or is there something more to it? Maybe Nicodemus could mention something about forbidden frequencies, voices from the past, before he actually shows her the radio. That'd get the old curiosity going, wouldn't it? Okay. Ooh, does Delilah other cities? If Nicodemus speaks of continents being connected, that would be the logical time to bring it up. What do you guys think? Do you agree with the assessment for this chapter? Okay. Should I... No, I should fix this chapter, get it there. I don't find that out anymore. Okay, we've not got any of the history of Delilah's backstory. Okay. Corey, I am loving your prompt. Oh my god, I am clicking it. I'm literally clicking on it. I mean, it's. I know it's my writing, but it's like it's. It was your idea. You inspired. Oh, I know, lass. This city. It wears on. This city. It wears on all of us. So this is a little tip if any of you have a prompt you really like. I have them like in a folder, like a segment with like 3 or 4 different versions with different word counts because depending on how much of a beat I'm writing, like how much material there is, will be like how much I then use it. There are and Kate's voice 150. Click. Do you think other civilizations might have survived the ice? We might not be alone out here. Nicodemus is. Nah, get rid of that. I don't know, lass. If anyone else were out. I mean, I know it's not proper grammar, but If anyone else were out there, you think they'd have made contact by now. But what about the nomads, the traders that come through? Frigid. Okay, I thought I was going to sneeze, but I'm okay. Oh. Huh. Okay, we have mentioned the other city subplot. Delilah asks about the, which feels very like space time, like asking about the possibility of other cities, like other planets, other civilizations. Like it's like sci-fi, but on a tiny scale, a teeny tiny scale. Delilah asks about the possibilities of other civilizations existing. Okay, so now I need to work out. Has Zora already left? Yeah. Actually. Okay, 20 minutes left-ish. Oh, okay, that's 2. Oil can. Delilah. Okay, so Delilah goes to find the screwdriver. Stepping in oil along the way and slipping. She looks down where the oil was and sees that instead of she goes to that's better. She tried to come off all casual. Okay, the argument. As the That's enough. We can't afford to draw attention to ourselves right now. Why can they just toss it aside? That'll do. Okay. Let's try this again. Brutal, honest, drunk. Okay, rude. How does it know I'm posh? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Corey. Okay, hypothesis. Do you think my slightly aggressive have at me primes the AI a bit more? compared to the Let's Go, which has a bit more of a positive attitude. All space if you're still there. Nice. Yeah. I'm. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Even if they're spouting off more exposition than a BBC documentary. Okay. Doesn't like that it's thrown away. Does Delilah go and throw the earring away, but doesn't because. Okay. I'll try then in the next iteration, keeping the earring. Okay, interesting. You stop getting distracted by shiny art. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's a good point for me to finish for this session. It's 6 o'clock where I am. So I'm going to head off. I hope you've all had a good time. I guess if we have I'll probably message in Discord about this community event, but if you all have some ideas and a bit of a brainstorm, that would be amazing.